SHOT Show, day one. What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things. Finally back from SHOT Show, and man, it was such an awesome time. I kind of underestimated how big the show really is. I knew it was huge, but I didn't know the actual magnitude of it. So when it came to managing my time, I had planned to put out videos while I was there, but there was no way in hell I was going to be able to do that. So now I'm sitting on footage from days 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to kind of scrub through it all and show you what SHOT was like for me. So day one, I was with the guys from Panda Tactical, and the first stop they wanted to make was a Nighthawk Custom booth, specifically to see the new Nighthawk Custom agency collaboration, the Agent 2. I've seen pictures of this gun all over Instagram, but obviously because it's so new, I didn't have my hands on it, and not many people really did. To sum it up quickly, this thing is sick, like really, really sick. The cuts, the trigger, the fit and finish of the entire gun is just really, really impressive. As a lot of you know, I'm not a big 1911 guy. However, this thing is so good, it's so hard to not pick it up for my personal collection. The whole idea behind this gun was basically to appeal to a demographic similar to myself, the younger generations, into the whole modern, sleek type of design, but with a classic gun like the 1911. The guys at Panda Tactical did place an order for some of these, so if you're looking to pick one up in the future, reach out to them. All of their information is in the description down below. They also had a Nighthawk chairman there. That again was really impressive. Just the overall fit and finish of the gun was very, very smooth, nice trigger, and everything's black, titanium nitride. I'm a big fan of that. Moving on at the show, we got to another booth with some really tricked out 1911s, and that was of course the Sti Booth. There's so many different models and variations to their guns, so I didn't really know what I was holding, but I did know that everything that I picked up, I liked. The triggers, the styling of the guns, the weight, the accessories, the lights, the magwells, the optics, everything was just begging for me to buy a 1911. I've never even held a full-blown race gun like this, but after I did, I am very interested in going out and shooting one for myself. So after seeing all of these tricked out 1911s so early on the first day of SHOT, that's definitely one of the first things that I put on my to-buy list for this year. Next, moving through the show, we got to the FN booth. There was a lot of things that I picked up here that I know people have asked about in videos, so I kind of got a hands-on first impression of some of these guns. The FN 5.7 that a lot of people asked about, definitely a really cool gun just because of the round that it shoots. But other than that, it didn't really impress me. It's like a polymer, really light, ugly looking handgun in my opinion. Trigger was nothing really to write home about, but I still would like to do a video on that in the future to see if shooting it would change my mind about it. They had a new generation P90, that was pretty cool. No one has really asked to see a video on that, but I would like to shoot one of them in the future. And then the FNS9 Compact. This is sort of a gun that can compete with the Glocks, the Springfields, the Smith & Wessons, the HKs. Nothing about the gun really stood out to me other than I think it's styled very well. I like the front serrations. The trigger was okay, nothing to write home about, but maybe I'll get my hands on that for a future video. Then we started jumping around a lot. The Fight Light booth had these really cool AR pistols, basically like a pirate style gun. A couple of my friends said that they shot these the day before and they shoot really flat. You pull the trigger and it's like clicking a computer mouse. It's just dead on every time. The way it mitigates recoil is kind of strange, but I would have to shoot one myself to actually get an idea of it. The Benelli booth had these crazy looking air rifles, and out of all of the guns that I picked up at the show, these triggers were the most crisp, lightest triggers I pulled the entire show. And then we got to the Glock booth where I could finally put my hands on the new 19x. A lot of people were asking me for my impressions on this gun, and basically I said this. Gen 5 Glock 19, Glock 17 mag, 19x. That was my first impression of the gun. Really not that impressive, nothing that I was gonna go out and buy myself. And then I put my hands on it. It's a 19 slide with a 17 frame, same style controls, the trigger felt pretty much the same. A couple of my friends shot it and they said it felt a little bit different, but that's probably the different feel between a Gen 4 and a Gen 5. So after a minute or two of actually holding the gun and fondling it, I'm still not impressed. I would much rather keep my Gen 5 19. I have no problem getting a full-handed grip on there without my pinky coming off. But hey, if you have massive hands but you want a shorter slide, I guess that that's the way to go. One thing that might be kind of cool to do with the 19X would be to throw a threaded barrel on there with a compensator. Then the gun wouldn't look so funny in my opinion. It would basically look like a 17 or a 17C like the 19C. I'm definitely not in the market for this gun, but maybe if someone is and they think of that idea, that would be a good use for it. Next, I stopped by the CZ booth to check out some of their race-styled guns. The CZ75TS really stuck out to me, not because it's TS and not because it's orange. I'm really not a big fan of orange, but something about this gun I just really found appealing. The gun felt great in my hand, the trigger also felt nice, and that's one that I would like to shoot in the future. There was a CZ Scorpion, pretty cool gun, not in the market for it right now, but I like the folding stock, it's very light. It's definitely unique looking, I'm sure it's fun to shoot, but I just don't really have a use for that right now. Of course, I had to throw in some B-roll of the Century Arms RAS 47 for all you fucking haters out there. There's nothing wrong with the new production models. Volquartsen Firearms, if that's how you say it, I stopped by their booth and that was pretty cool. They make a lot of custom stuff for shooting 22s, they make some 1022 uppers, a bunch of pistol modifications, and even just like full builds. I haven't really done much research on their guns, but in the future I think that's one thing that I'm gonna look into. Then I got to the Geisley booth where these dudes hooked it up. A lot of them watched my videos, which I was kind of unaware of. They had contacted me in the past asking me if I wanted to work with them. But when I got to the booth, they were super friendly, greeted me with praise, and more than one guy actually watches my videos. So shout out to Kevin and Diego for hooking me up while I was there. They were doing giveaways every day at their booth. Basically, you put a ticket in a raffle box and then you play Plinko. Whatever the little puck lands in, that's what you win, and they were giving away 2 rifles a day if I'm not mistaken. I was only there for the first day at 11, didn't win, but they did hook me up with some parts anyway because they are viewers of the channel. Now these triggers, I don't know what they're doing to them, what kind of magic they have going on behind the scenes, but they are sick. I got an AK trigger, an AR trigger, so in the future you guys will see me install those and do full reviews on them. I also believe I might have some discount codes. Here we go, 30% off and 35% off SSA and SSAE triggers. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 codes. Get ready to pause the video. First 5 to use these, you're welcome. Alright, moving on. This next booth was a little bit of a mission to get to. Rhino Metals, they were like downstairs in the back corner somewhere. I beelined it right for them and I finally got to meet up with Rich, Luke, and all the guys from their team. Those guys introduced me to the people over at F1 Firearms. You've probably seen their AR platforms around. Super sick skeletonized lowers, uppers, rails, pretty much everything is just skeletonized. If that's something you want to see a Sunday Gun Day on in the future, let me know because I'd be more than happy to do that. Then finally, at the end of the first day, I got to the booth to see the one gun that I was most excited to see, and that was the Archon Firearms Type B. A couple months ago, I did a video on the Salient Arms Strike 1 from Arsenal Firearms. All of those companies are kind of like mashed together now. Arsenal is now Archon, and Archon and Salient were working together, but I think Salient is no longer anymore. But regardless, this gun is coming this spring, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. It's based off the same gun that the Strike 1 was based off of, however the price point is completely different. So I look at this gun, I see front serrations, nice texturing, really good styled lines in my opinion, great trigger, nice sights, basically everything that you would do to a gun like this to customize it to make it just perform a little bit better. This thing comes with all of that right out of the box. Or bag, I should say. This thing actually comes in a soft shell bag case type of thing with 4 magazines. 4 magazines, that's a lot. That's more than any gun that I've ever bought. So after holding this thing, playing with it, seeing all the stuff that it came with, I was expecting this to be like $1,000 to $1,200-ish. Turns out this thing is going to be retailing for about $850-ish. It should hopefully be released this spring, and you can bet your ass I'm going to be picking one of those up. Speaking of Archon and Salient, after we left their booth, went back to the hotel, hung out for a little bit, and then went to their party they were having that night. As you know, Salient does their guns way over the top, so you can imagine what the party looked like. Check it out. that was a start of not sleeping for pretty much the entire weekend, which is why I look like I do, why I'm so tired now. After that after party, I went to another after party where I met up with some new friends, some familiar faces that you probably know. So that was it for day 1. Days 2, 3, and 4 will be coming out sometime this week. I know this is kind of sporadic and all over the place. I only had my hands on these guns for a very short amount of time, but that's what SHOT Show's all about. Everyone in the industry is there. You're going there to meet people, network, to see new products, and it's just a blast. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, slap a like on it. If you're new, consider clicking subscribe. I make new videos every week, and that's going to be all for today. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.